So, in our last class, we had completed the concept of constructor and destructor. Today, we will go to a new chapter, that is Python inheritance. So, what is inheritance and why inheritance? What is the main advantage of inheritance? That we will study in detail. So, point number one, it is one of the important feature of object-oriented programming. Point number two, the process in which the properties of one class is transferring to another class is known as inheritance. The properties are transferring from which class is known as parent class or superclass. The class which is derived from parent class is known as child class or subclass. It provides the concept of reusability, which is the main advantage. Okay, so we will see. Suppose A is a class and B is a class. Let A, there is a class A, there is a class B. So this representing the inheritance. So A contain A property. This is called as parent class or superclass. This is called as child class or subclass. So as we have known from the beginning of OOPS, I mean in class and object concept. So what do you mean by class property? So whatever anything is present inside a class, that is considering as class property. So basically a class contains data or function or data and function, which is considering as property. So we will see what is parent class, how we will create a child class, or what is the responsibility of child class, what child class object will do, and overall we will see how to represent the concept of inheritance. If the interviewer will ask why inheritance or what is the advantage of inheritance? Simply, you will give the answer, that is reusability. So regarding reusability, I will explain. Okay. So first of all, so now we have to quite see. So now I will open my Jupyter notebook environment. I will create a new file. So I will give a file name, suppose Python inheritance. Suppose, first of all, I have a class. Let class A. Okay. Inside the class A, one function I will define. So already we have known how I will define a function inside a class. In our last two classes, already we have got the clarity. Suppose one function I defined. Okay, suppose Python programming. Now I will come out. Now I came out from the class. So I will enter backspace. Again, I will enter backspace. Now I came out from the class. So what I did here, simply A is a class. Inside the A class, one function named as F1. The function F1 that I have defined. Now I will create a child class. So how to create a child class? So what is the general form or what is the syntax? Class name, within a bracket I will write A. In this way, you can represent a child class. Class, child class name, within bracket, whatever you specify the class name, that class is parent class. Okay, so again I am repeating, class name, within bracket, whatever you will specify the class name, that class will be parent class. Sorry, yes, within bracket, whatever you specify the class, that will what? Parent class. So now here B is child class, A is parent class. So parent class is a normal simple class. So in B class, suppose I have a function, let F2. Now one statement, one output statement, suppose I am writing Python inheritance. So F2 function definition is the property of B class. F1 function definition is the property of A class. Because as I told, whatever anything is present inside a class, that is the class property. So basically we know a class contains data or function or data and function. Now I came out from the class. So what I have written here, A is a class. In our context, it is considering as parent class. F1 function definition is the property of A class. Similarly, B is child class and F2 function definition is the property of B class. Now, next step is the object declaration. Then question is, which object I will declare? Because here we have two classes. One is A class, another is B class. which object I will declare, which class object. Suppose we have no idea which class object I will take. So first of all, I will see object name equals to class name. Suppose a class object, suppose I will take. So we know that how to create an object, how to declare an object. Object name equals to class name parenthesis. Then after object declaration, we know object name dot whatever the functions we have defined obj.f1, then obj.f2 function. Just to see obj.f1, f1 function is invoking by obj, f2 function is invoking by obj. f1 function is the property of a class, obj is the object of a class, so there is no problem. obj.f1, happily this line will execute, f1 function definition will execute, Python programming will come to the picture. Just to come to the next line, obj.f2. So here f2 function definition is the property of B class. B is the child class. Obj is the object of A class. So here in this line error will arise because child class property, what we are trying, f2 function definition is the property of a B class, that means it is the property of child class. But object, parent class object we have taken. So just to see, now I will hit run. So Python programming, one output have come, but another, when obj.f2, this line executed, this error we got, attribute error, a object has no attribute f2. If this error is coming to the picture, so what we are observing, parent class object, obj is a class object, parent class object never access child class property, or you can say child class property never accessed by parent class object. The first point you have to remember. Then, so what the inheritance concept is saying, through one object we access all parent and child class property. So here f1 function definition and f2 function definition is the property. So what I will do, let us see, I will declare the object of a B class. Now I changed obj equals to B, then parenthesis, that means I declared the object of a B class, B is the child class. So now obj.f1, obj.f2, now I will hit run. Just to see, happily we got the output. So what we are observing, f1 is the property of a parent class, obj is the object of a child class. So now it is valid because output is coming. That means child class object can access a parent class property. obj.f2 here in this line there is no problem because object obj accessing its own property, because f2 is the property of a B class, obj is the object of B class. In this line there is no problem. So from this line what we are observing, note point. So note point is what, child class object can access parent class property. Parent class property. So this point that we got. Okay, so what we observed, you remember, in inheritance programming context, when we will need to declare an object, so anytime we will declare the child class object, because the child class object can access parent class property and its own property. So give a response. I hope everybody got clarity.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so everybody is writing.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So
Please show the previous slide.
So then I will show you another scenario. From this example, we got this note point. Child class object can access parent class property. Child class object can access parent class property. Okay. Then I am showing another example. Suppose class A1. Okay, suppose class A1. Suppose I have A1 class having a data member. Suppose let x equals to 0. Let class B1, within bracket I wrote A1. That means B1 I specified, I presented as child class. A1 I presented as parent class. Suppose B1 having a data member, let y equals to 0. Now I will define a function, let get function. Now I will write self dot x equals to 100, self dot y equals to 200. Just to see, get function definition is the property of B1 class. A1 property is x, B1 property is y, one data member, one get function definition. Self, already as we have known, any function we define inside a class, within function self keyword, it is mandatory that we have to specify. So what is the meaning of self? Whatever we have the data member we access by self keyword using dot operator. But you see, X is the property of A1 class, but that X not used or not available physically in B1 class, but directly within get function I have written self dot x equals to 100 and it is 100% valid. So if it is 100% valid, so what we are observing, get function is the child class property. Child class property can access parent class property. The property X not available physically in B1, but directly we can use. This representing reusability. X already that have used in A1, but again we are using in child class property without any physical existence of X in B1, but directly we can access, we can evaluate, or we can manipulate. If it is happening, if it is 100% valid, then again we got a new note point. child class property can access a parent class property without any fail. Similarly, I will define another function. Let's show function. So I will write print x equals to self dot x, print y equals to self dot y. Now I came out from the class. So here A1 is a parent class, B1 is child class, A1 property is X, B1 property is Y, get function definition, show function definition. Now I will declare an object of a B class, object name equals to B1 class. Now I can write obj dot get function, obj dot show function. So when this line will execute, happily this person will execute, then this line will execute, then happily this person will execute. Now I will hit run. Just to see, I got the output x equals to 100, y equals to 200. So here, what we got a note point. So another note point, child class property can access parent class property. So I hope everybody got the clarity. Okay, so varieties of scenario that you have to acquainted for better clarity. Clear concept is clear.
Yes, sir.
Give a response. I hope everybody is writing.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we will go to the next point. This point, I hope you all have written. This point you all have written because I will go to a new file.
Yes, sir.
So now I will explain what exactly reusability. Actually, what is the main advantage of this point, or what is this terminology reusability? I will give a scenario. Nowadays, bank is providing various loans, vehicle loan, personal loan, home loan. Nowadays, suppose one day one bank came to you and the bank told you develop an application for me. As a result, all types of loan, whatever the bank is providing, that will manage by the application. So what I told, nowadays bank is providing various loans, varieties of loans. So like suppose personal loan, vehicle loan, home loan. Okay. So you have no idea about inheritance. Simply you guys have known class and object. So what you did without inheritance, you developed. In which way you developed? In this way, let class personal loan 300 functions you defined. Similarly, class vehicle loan 300 functions you defined. Similarly, class home loan 300 functions you define. So in this way, how many number of functions you define? Total number of functions equals to 900. So without inheritance, you developed in this way. So personal loan you considered as a class. Inside the class, 300 functions you define. Let one function definition representing one task. Similarly, vehicle loan you considered as a class. Similarly, home loan you considered as a class, and 300 functions you defined. Then now your everything is right, application is perfect, not a single error. Application, when you are executing, then output you are getting properly. Then what you did, you showed to me and you asked, sir, we have done this application. Sir, please you check whether the application is perfect or not. Then what I did, I verified, I checked this application. I saw everything is right, output perfectly we are getting. But somewhere I felt program is heavyweight. What do you mean by heavyweight component and lightweight component? So I told your application is becoming heavyweight component. Heavyweight means 900 functions you have defined. Exact point that I observed, 99% property is common in personal loan class, in vehicle loan class, in home loan class. So you got shocked. Then you asked, sir, how? Just to see, nowadays you go to bank for any type of loan. Common document you have to submit. Aadhaar card, PAN card, residential proof, salary slip, IT file return. So you go to bank for any loan. Just little bit point is different in vehicle loan, personal loan, home loan, but common document if you go for personal loan, Aadhaar card, PAN card, salary slip, IT file returns, residential proof. If you will go to vehicle loan, same thing, Aadhaar card, PAN card, residential proof, salary slip. Maximum, what I told, 99% property is common. Only just 1 to 2.2 document may different. Then I suggested as you develop with inheritance. Then you learned Python inheritance from silantutorial.com. Then with inheritance, same task you develop. With inheritance, then you develop. How? Class loan, you have taken a class loan. So whatever you found the common property, so let it 250 functions common property in personal, vehicle loan and home loan. So that common property you defined here. Then class personal loan you considered as a child class. Loan will be parent class. Then remaining 50 functions you define here, because already in personal loan class 250 function already you have defined as a common property in loan class. So 50 functions are remaining. So that remaining function you write. Similar, class vehicle loan within bracket loan, remaining 50 functions you defined here. Similarly, class home loan, then loan 50 functions you defined here. So you tell in this way total number of functions. How many number of functions you defined? 250 plus 50 plus 50 plus 50. 50, 50, 50, 150 plus 250 equals to 400 functions. So you think and imagine, same task you defined or you presented with inheritance, only 400 functions required. Straight 500 functions reduced. Now we can say with inheritance, whatever you developed the application, that is lightweight, and without inheritance, whatever you developed the application, that is heavyweight. Just to see, so here this representing reusability, 250 functions here. Same 250 functions not available in personal loan, but anytime we can use 150 functions. 250 function not available in vehicle loan, but inside the vehicle loan, anytime directly you can use, because vehicle loan is the child class, personal loan is the child class, home loan is the child class. Child class have that capability to access parent class property. Currently we studied. So inside the loan class, 250 function, that property is used. Same property we can use in personal loan or vehicle loan or home loan class without any physical existence. That means again that property again used in child class, which is called as reusability. Okay. The parent class property, when it is used in child class without physical existence, that representing reusability. Give a response. I hope everybody got clarity.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
This is the advantage of inheritance. This is called as reusability. Then we will go to the next point. I hope everybody got clarity. Then we will go to the next point. One of the common interview question. Python function overriding. So what do you mean by overriding? Suppose I have a class, let vehicle. Let I have a function, let move function. One statement I am writing, vehicle is running. Now I have a class car. One function, same function I am defining. So I will write car is running. So just to see what you are observing. Now vehicle is the parent class, car is the child class. Move function definition is the property of vehicle class. Same move function is the property of car class. The function and its signature. Move function within a bracket, no argument, since self is mandatory, that we specify. The function and its signature in parent class, the function and its signature in child class exactly same, then we can say the function in child class is overridden. This is called as overridden function. This concept is called as function overriding. So I can define. So what is function overriding? Function overriding. When a function and its signature in parent class and the function and its signature in child class is exactly same, then the function in child class is called as overridden. Called as overridden. This is known as function overriding. This is known as function overriding. Okay, so function overriding. The function and its signature in parent class, the function and its signature in child class is exactly same, then the function in child class we are saying that is overridden, hence that representing function overriding. Just to see, now I came out from the class, now I will declare the object. So in inheritance context, we know always we will declare the child class object. So your car class is the child class obj.move. So which output that we will get? Can you give the answer? Any guess? Car is running or vehicle is running? Because object obj is the child class object, car class object. Child class object also quite capable to access a parent class property. So in this context, vehicle is running or car is running, which message will come to the picture? So here, only child class property is coming. Because first of all, obj is the child class object. Particularly, if this is the scenario, then just to see, now I will hit run. Car is running. Suppose you will tell, sir, again, if we will write obj.move, then vehicle is running will come. No. Any number of time, if you will call move function by obj, then only car is running. So this is the scenario, only child class property is coming to the picture, parent class property is not coming to the picture. So definitely it is a disadvantageous fact. Because what the inheritance concept is saying, using child class object, we access all parent and child class property. But here, only child class property is coming, parent class property is not coming to the picture. So in this scenario, definitely child class object will access its own property. If you have a vehicle, why you will bring your father's vehicle? Okay, so first of all, child class object definitely will give the priority to access its own property. Child class object is capable, have capacity to access parent class property. So definitely we can say it is a disadvantageous fact. The developer thought, if this is the scenario, then in which way or how the parent class property will come to the picture? Then the developer developed a function, one built-in function. So that function name is super function. So what is the purpose of super function? To access super class property. Super class means parent class property. Okay, so super function dot move function. So in this context, we have to use super function to access super class property. So what is the use of super function? Super function is a built-in function. The purpose is particularly in the case of function overriding or in function overriding context we use. The purpose is only to access super class property. Okay, just to see. Now I will hit that. So vehicle is running, car is running. So when this line executed, then this person will execute. So what is the move function body? Two line. One is a super dot move, another is a print statement. When this line will execute, then this person will execute. So vehicle is running, then car is running. I hope everybody got clarity. So this is all about function overriding.